we're just going to introduce ourselves to start. My name is Tom Zidra. I am the Director of Operations here at Quality Builders and one of the co-founders. Thank you for joining us this morning. Quality Builders, we're a GC tech company, startup based in Chicago. All the work there right now. Our whole goal is to build technology and really lean in on technology to help give our clients the best experience possible. So we do that by providing instantaneous estimates, creating past projects. If you're an investor and you have more than one project, we can have you be able to look back at your projects, kind of see the costs and everything, and maybe help make educated decisions when it comes to any future projects. So goal of this virtual walkthrough today is just to educate on some of the lessons learned that we have on these projects, give any feedback, answer any questions that anyone may have, obviously on this specific projects or any other projects in general. So again, I've told you before, but thank you all for coming. I know it's Saturday morning and you probably have other places you could be, but we appreciate you being here with us. Always appreciate everyone in attendance. So one thing we do like to bring up at the beginning of these is we suggest a $10 donation if you're willing to for the Boys and Girls Clubs of True Value. Our team is on the board of directors there, very important to us. If you are willing to, you can make your donation right through the Eventbrite page that was sent out to you for this specific walkthrough. So thank you in advance if you're willing to do that. First and foremost, in addition, Dev, you can turn it around. This is our project manager.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
So Deb will be walking there on site today while I kind of talk through some of the things, walking through the property and answer any questions as we go through. So, Jeff, you can probably go in there if it's still raining, so I don't want to get you too wet, but just to give an overall rundown of this property, this is a multifamily. It was the existing 3-story building. No work on the outside. Obviously, you can see, solid brick building from built over 100 years ago. So tons of history in this building. Our main goal here is to really gut the property without taking too much of that historical charm away. So, not trying to turn this into some modern building, trying to really keep all the historical charm here, while still bringing it up to modern standards, bringing it up to code, and having it into a more livable condition. So you'll see as we go through, there are some rooms that are fully gutted, other rooms with minor demo where we're trying to maybe keep some of the more historical trim work and stuff like that. We'll specifically see on the first floor as we go here in a second. But one interesting thing, this was an existing 4-unit building. First floor and second floor had very large full floor units. The third floor had 2 half floor units. We are actually making the top floor into a 1 large unit, which means we were able to make a ADU unit or built in the basement. It's not officially an ADU because we went from a 4-unit to a 4-unit. So we didn't actually make it an ADU per se, but kind of the same process of turning a unfinished basement into its own unit. So you'll see that as we go down there as well. I want to share my screen real quick just to give everyone kind of a look into what we kind of do as a company here for our clients. So just schedule in general, this is something that we like to share. This is using our project management software Builder Trend. So we basically put together a schedule, different color codes, kind of help you, keep up with the project if you're not able to be there on a daily basis. In addition to our weekly owner meetings, we update this to keep you updated on what's going on with the schedule. Another way to keep you updated, daily logs. This is an example of a past project. So quick write-ups, who's working on site today, what's going on, what might be coming up in the future. Also posting photos, obviously owners love it and they're able to keep up to date without ever having to go on site. So it's always been a huge benefit for us. So without further ado, though, I think we can let Dev start the walkthrough. I want you guys to know that we encourage questions throughout the walkthrough. I have my chat up right here, so feel free to type any questions you may have. I'm just going to keep talking kind of through as we go through the units and some things that we've gone through here. But by all means, feel free to add it. If I don't get to it right away, I will certainly go back and answer them. So, one thing I did miss, financing type. This is just a typical construction loan. The owner actually owned this building outright, purchased it years ago. So going through a bunch of permitting and zoning and everything, which I'm sure everyone else has done themselves. Finally got the construction loan and the permit approved and everything. So just the construction loan separately. So Without further ado, I'm actually going to share my plans first. So Dev's going to be on the first floor here. So why don't I go ahead and share my screen real quick, and I can kind of show you the floor plan and everything of that first floor, give you guys a better idea before we walk in of kind of what we're looking at. So Dev was out here on the front porch here. He's walked now into the foyer. This is going to open up to your living room and then kitchen. You'll see here very quickly, this is probably some of the most intricate woodwork that we have in the building. So really doing our best to try and preserve it. I'll tell everyone it's very hard to do sometimes to bring up to modern standards, get the piping that you need, the electrical, everything like that. So anytime you're getting an old property and hoping that you can keep all the historical charm, got to be aware that some things, there might be some compromise just to make it and bring it up to standards. So we'll go into more detail on that later when we go through some of our lessons learned when it came to inspections and whatnot. So you'll go through, you get the kitchen. This is a 3-bedroom, small 3rd bedroom in the back, 3-bath as well. So very large bath that we're building out here, kind of an ensuite, but also a pass through. Actually, the 2nd bedroom has its own ensuite as well back here. Kitchen will be a very kind of interesting layout because of all the intricate woodwork that we have there. It's actually where most of the cabinetry is going to be in the island here. So you'll see kind of as we walk in there what that's going to look like. So I'll switch back to Dev for now. If we need to highlight anything, we'll come back to that. So go ahead, Dev, walk through. Take it right here, and then you can see this is the main living room here. So like I kind of mentioned, a lot of intricate woodwork, a lot of crown molding up at the top, some very nice built-ins on the other side. So some of this is going to have to be updated, obviously painting and everything. Unfortunately, the owner did have a pipe burst during last winter up here, so you can see a lot of that ceiling was removed, and even some of this trim work, which very disappointing that it had to happen, but at this point it had to happen. A lot of water was discharged at that point. A lot of damage was done. If you look down Dev at the floor as well, you can see a lot of this wood flooring, which at first we were thinking, could we save and refinish? At this point now we know we're going to have to replace just because of a lot of the water damage that we had there. But you can see very cool room, almost parlor-esque. We will do whatever we can, certainly to bring this up to modern standards while still keeping that historical charm. Take a look at the left there, Dev. I'm going to touch on the stained glass right there. So you can see a lot of cool windows as we go through. Some really cool stained glass. Some still, like this one, in great shape. Others has some cracking. Our client has actually reached out to a local art school that works on stained glass, and they're actually going to potentially be willing to help us out just for their own class standards to maybe try and do some of the repairs on this glass. So I thought it was an interesting tidbit, something maybe you wouldn't think about, but they were super excited to maybe be able to help us out. So we're kind of working with them on that right now. Go ahead, Devin, we'll go to the next room. This is the kitchen as we're coming up to that. So you can see that's the knee wall that we built out for the island. So you'll have cabinetry on both sides. The sink, oven will all be in there. Fridge will be over there to the right. So again, you can see a lot of windows in this room, already some built-ins, some wainscoting and whatnot. So going to be hard to, you're not going to have a lot of wall cabinetry in this building, or this specific unit. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how that works out. We'll probably end up putting some additional storage as well. But you can see here, it should turn out to be a pretty cool kitchen in this area. A couple more people joining. All right. Thanks for joining. A couple people coming in a little late. Jolene and MJ, thank you for joining us. We're just walking through the first floor unit of this building. We can, if you guys have any questions that you missed as we go, I'll just circle back. This is a 3-unit building, going to be a 4th unit in the basement as well. Each floor has its own unit. This first floor, a lot of historical charm on this. You can see with all the woodwork here. So we're trying to maintain it all as much as we can while still bringing it up to modern standards. So this is the kitchen. Dev's walking through right now, our project manager. Keep on going through here, Dev. Maybe the bathroom straight ahead. Your left. Yeah, we'll go. So to your left here, this will be the master bedroom. Again, you can see, we're not going to obviously keeping the wallpaper up there on top, but again, not the full gut that you might have on an older building like this. So we're trying to keep as much of the historical, you know, the wood trim on the windows, the crown molding up top. So we'll get rid of all this old looking paint and drywall and plaster, but kind of keeping all of the woodwork as much as possible. So through there to your right, that's the master bath. That'll be a fairly large master bath here with a linen closet there, and this will be a walk-in shower here as well. So it'll look again, bringing it up to modern standards with keeping some of that historical charm. So not too much more, I think, on this this first floor. Why don't you head down to the basement here? I'm gonna share the plan again so I can kind of walk you through what we're looking like down there. So
did you want to go through the back of the house?
You can just go down through there. I think that's fine.
Okay.
All right, so it does going down, there's access there through the first floor unit. That'll be turned into an exterior door entrance with lock, as in because these, so we don't have through access for the first floor unit down to the basement unit. So as he's going down there, you can see this is my screen now. This original basement completely unfinished. Luckily did have good ceiling height here, so we didn't have to do a dig down. But it was completely unfinished, and then we have now built out a lot of walls where we've taken all the ceiling off. We are currently, as you'll see once I give it back to Dev, did all the underground plumbing. So it's still a little bit of a mess down there just because we have not poured the concrete back. We're looking to do that next week. We just passed our underground inspection, so get to move forward now with that. But again, this actually originally was unfinished. Then we were going to turn it into a 1-bed, 1-bath, and slowly as we've gone on, we've turned it into a 2-bed, 1-bath, and now it's actually a 3-bed, 1-bath. So the owner and client kept trying to make this unit bigger, and rightfully so. Why not? That's only going to help the ROI at the end of the day. So he's actually turned it, what used to be some more storage space is now going to be bedroom 2, mislabeled here, but this is going to be bedroom 3. And I was going to talk more about this. You can see this is actually the original layout, which had 2 bedrooms, and this is the updated layout, which now has 3 bedrooms. So this mechanical is now a 3rd bedroom here. Still just a 1-bath, just for plumbing's sake. That was all that we could do down there. But with the 3rd bedroom, I'll have a laundry room here. Still a little bit of storage in the front for the other units. So I'll switch back over to Dev, kind of show what we're talking about here. All right, so we're all framed out down there. A little dark, no electricity down there yet, but we have our master bedroom here, which we'll go over. If you turn around, Dev, I don't know if you can see the concrete archway maybe to the left. The brick archway to the left a little more. Keep going 90 more degrees. Okay, here we go. So that's the kit. This will be the kitchen back here. You can see here, still have our plumbing trenched out, but should be ready to close it up now that we've passed. So yeah, a completely unfinished basement that sooner rather than later will be a fully 3-bedroom, 1-bath unit for us. So maybe go back towards the front of the house, Dev. I wanted to show them maybe a go past here, do the bathroom here, maybe even. Yeah, so this will be the bathroom right there. Have it all plumbed, all the plumbing complete, underground, everything ready to go. Just need to close that up, and then we can start to finish it down. To your right now, Dev. Let me see where we're right. Through here, that's what I want to look at right here. So you can see this concrete archway. I'm going to go into more detail about the framing inspection that we had after we get through the whole walkthrough here. But this was a big sticking point for head clearance. So initially, when we spoke to someone, they told us that this would have to be removed and built out to be with a steel beam. So obviously, a lot of work there. We were able to work through it though and get it to be passed, so it can be left as is. As it's not a doorway, it's a pass through. So the head clearance is still enough to make that work. So that's something that we kind of lucked out on. Not lucked out, but we were working to try and get that approved with the inspector. So yeah, very cool to keep that. Like keep harping on. I know our owner really wants to keep as much as possible, and we're going to show you on the 2nd floor as well. Going through inspections on these older buildings, as much as you might want to keep, there are certain things that you hit with them that don't pass code anymore. So as cool as they might be, we're doing our best. That this was deemed a historical building by the city, so I think that's what's really helping our cause in this specific project. So I think we're good down there, Deb. Why don't we have a head up to the second floor? I'll try to answer some questions while he's heading up there. So, all right, so let's just circle back. All right, Erica, what is the estimated cost of this rehab? Great question. So, like I said, complete construction costs, construction loan, nothing to do with the actual purchasing of the building. So the construction cost of the rehab, we're shooting in the 600 to 700,000 range. You know, huge units, a lot of work to be done. Obviously, got 4 kitchens. I believe it's 7 baths. Lot of concrete work, a lot of framing work. It was again, I'm going to go into the detail once we go through these units about the inspection. But long story short, you know, we had X amount of framing work to be done, which wasn't too much, and the framing budget basically doubled after we went through our framing inspection. We can kind of go through that, like I said, in a little bit more detail later. Eric also asked about the permitting timeline. It was a long time for our owner. I know it was over. A lot of changes were made, so I can't say it was strictly permitting, you know, just the permit with the city that held up. Like I said before, we kind of changed our mind between getting that ADU in the basement. There was stuff about fire exits and whatnot in the 3rd floor. A lot of different things that went into it. So it wasn't just strictly sitting with the city. I know when the owner reached out to us for the first time, and between then and him getting the permit, it was almost 2 years. Now, when it was actually with the city, that was not the full 2 years. That was though, I want to say, you know, upwards of 7 to 9 months or something like that it was with the city, kind of going back and forth. And then by the time the project went through, unfortunately, the owner had to then go back to his lender, and then he had issues with the appraisal and had to go back through that. So it was a very long process to get this one going. A lot of back and forth, but very happy to be rocking and rolling on this one. I'll come back to the questions here in a second. I'm going to share my screen again, and we'll just take a look at the 2nd and 3rd floor here. Kind of similar layouts at the end of the day. And so these still definitely more historical charm, not as much as the 1st floor, not as much of the intricate woodwork. So working through that now. Again, this is a 3-bed, 2-bath. So we have an ensuite here in the front, master, small bedroom up here, a little bit larger in the back, kind of going out to the dining room. When we get to this dining room here, kind of a cool room here, we'll kind of go into more detail of that. Brand new kitchen here as well. So when we go to the 3rd, I'll just go to the 3rd floor as well. Again, pretty similar layout. You have 2 beds in the front, a 3rd bedroom here, a dining and kitchen here, a little bit smaller kitchen here. My mistake, sorry, this is a 4-bed up top. So they did add another bedroom, a little bit smaller kitchen, kind of in the hall, almost galley style, but with a 2nd set of cabinets here. But similar 2 baths kind of throughout here. So with that, let's go back to you, Deb. Go ahead and start walking through here. A little bit more open here. Again, not as much of the woodwork here, but we've opened up a little bit more walls in these. As you're walking through, we have another question here. Jolene asked, I know you said owner preference to keep as much as old as possible. What do you think the ROI is on keeping historic elements versus putting in new on rehab projects in general? That's a great question. And to be honest, I think it's kind of in the eye of the beholder. At the end of the day, I think that, you know, different clientele might lean in more on loving the historical value. I think some clients would have zero desire to have any historical elements and would much rather have a completely gutted and rehab building. I will say personally, I think the difficulty in keeping historic elements is you open yourself up to a lot more unknowns. And I have that as a talking point after the walkthrough, but essentially anytime you're not opening up everything and planning on replacing everything, you know, you can guess as much as you want and put down an allowance for repairs or anything like that. But as soon as you open up those walls, either A, us as the contractor might immediately know things need to be changed, or B, you get to the inspection process of the rough inspections, you walk through and stuff starts not passing, you get a long laundry list. One, that leads to more cost, maybe you weren't planning for it. Two, that ultimately leads for extended, project length. So the permitting and everything the inspection for the framing and the rework we had to do for that we weren't planning on, added at least a month to the project here at the end of the day. So I will say, with that in mind, I would be hesitant to try to keep too much of this old of a building, just because of the fact that you need to expect the unexpected at that point. I love the fact that we're keeping a lot of it, when it comes to trim and stuff like that, all for it. But when there's so much trim on a first floor unit like that, it's certainly hard to work around it, trying to get plumbing through there, HVAC, electrical, and all of that. So as Deb, you keep walking around here. I mean, you can see a little bit less, still some intricate, door frames and whatnot, and window frames, trying to keep what we can there. But at the end of the day, it's these middle units and even the upstairs units are going to be a little more modern, I think, than that downstairs. The doors, we're going to try to keep it possible, but again, some of the locking mechanisms need a little bit more work. We're going to see that as we go through. So. Just keep on walking down. I'm going to keep answering questions. A built-in fireplace here that we'll look to repurpose as much as possible. All right, I got another question here from MJ. Is there a second kitchen? That's why it's smaller. I'm not sure if you're referencing the top floor, maybe, MJ. When we get up there, you'll see. What I had explained was that on the top floor, it actually used to be two separate units. So the top floor used to be a front unit and a back unit, and rather than leave it like that, the owner opted to make it a single unit, and part of that was actually for access and egress. So, and I'll show you that on the plans as well when I hop back over the plans. But your other question was about the building, what it be used for. So this is actually going to be multifamily. Each floor will be its own unit. So there's a first, second, and third floor that will have very large full floor units, and then the basement will be a new finished unit as well, 3-bed, 1 bath. It won't be the entire basement floor. There's still going to be some communal storage, like bike storage and some other storage units at the front of the building. But it will be its own unit as well. So eventually there will be a 4-unit building here at the end. Here's a bathroom here. We had to refinish fully. Had to do a lot of work in the bathrooms to get them up to code. You can see here as Deb's going through a lot of joists that were sistered on. That was per our framing inspection. The total will be 4 units. So three larger units and 1 little bit smaller unit in the basement. So as Deb goes through here, this is where you'll see a very interesting room we have that we're still kind of working through exactly what we want to do with it here. Go ahead and go through, turn around, Deb, and go through that dining area. So the original plan here, as Deb walks into this room, is through these double doors and this kind of cool room with the big semicircle windows. Is this was supposed to be the dining room. We are now looking at potential issues with insulation in here. The owner definitely wants to keep the brick exposed here, just again for the historical, and with these large windows as well, do whatever we can to repair them. So we are looking at potentially having a little bit colder room here. So we actually might pivot from having this be I guess it would be an interior room into a more of a 3 seasons room. So in order to do that, we would actually, instead of insulating these exterior walls, we'd insulate that wall that he's looking at right now, as well as the wall here that would be built out, and have to put exterior doors there, maybe even a glass sliding door. So I think it would unfortunately not work as the dining room anymore, but it would be a kind of a cool feature with the sliding doors here, still getting tons of natural light coming into that kitchen. So I think that's kind of what we're leaning towards right now. Still working through it with the owner, something we've been talking through with him just recently. So obviously we have a ton of back and forth with our owner. We have a weekly meeting with him. He's very involved. Obviously, he has a lot of vision for this. So we're trying to work with him to give him the project that he wants. Let's see, so Erica asked, this will be the kitchen in here as Doug's looking at it. So you'll see you have the island built out here as well. Have a wall of cabinets here on the backside as well. So again, we'd be fully modern kitchens, which would be nice. Obviously, that was part of the problems is that in here, these were livable in the past, but now these will be much better kitchens for everyone. So I think you could probably make your way to the third floor. Keep answering some questions here. All right, Eric asked, sorry if I missed it. What was this property already multi-unit or is this being converted? Okay, good question. This was a multi-unit before, actually. So originally, 100 years ago when this was built, this was a single-family home mansion, for lack of a better term. Way back in the day, there's actually a coach house in the back we are not working on, but like that, had people living in the back, like some of the, who might have helped around the house and everything like that. But for now, this was then converted to a multi-unit, maybe 50 years ago, where it was, like I said, basement was unfinished, but it was a first floor unit, second floor unit, and 2 units on the third floor. So the only thing that's being converted, this top unit is being converted to a single unit from 2 units. And instead of having the 2 units up here, they have made that 4th unit into the basement now. So didn't increase or decrease the amount of units, but they did increase the size of this upper unit on the 3rd floor. So I'm going to share my plans again, because what I'm going to show you, I guess, right now is that 3rd floor of what it used to look like. So I'm going to go back to the existing plan here. All right, so you see here, originally when we went up to this 3rd floor, there were 2 doors towards the back of the building and towards the front of the building. So there were 2 very small kitchens. One was just right here, and one was here for each of those units, and each just had 1 bath. So it was a 2-bed, 1 bath, and a 2-bed, 1 bath. So instead of 2 2-bed, 1 baths, we now have a single unit up here, which is 4-bed, 2 bath. So part of the reason for changing that was this stair on the side here that they had for access egress. So each unit has to have 2 points of access and 2 points of egress. So each had the front stair, and each had their own deck in the back, or this stair on the side here. So this stair on the side, not to code, it was way too skinny. So what we were going to have to do is tear this entire thing down and build out a new stair down to the side. The owner really did not want some big, huge stair, that was going to be the code on the side of the building. Again, emphasizing wanting the brickwork and the historical aspects of it. So what he actually tried to do was submit a plan that would have a spiral staircase down the side, give it a more of a kind of a cool look, kind of going more with historical features. Unfortunately, that did not pass through fire escape route. That's not a proper fire escape route. So once that failed through plan review, and we could not go that route, he actually decided to nix the whole stair all together, and we're going to make this stair into a window and make that a single unit upstairs. So now that single unit will have the front access and back access as well to pass that inspection. So that's kind of what we're looking at there. All right, so back to Dev here. All right, so as you can see here, there's the door that's going to be closed up, so that will no longer be a second door. We'll just have the main door going into the unit here. And then this is the new living room. That's an old kitchen that used to be there, having a cool skylight here up above. That was an old existing skylight. So we'll have that refinished to still give this cool natural light. We'll build out a little bar right here for him. Again, you can see here right now that was closed. But if you take a look to the left here on that wall, that where it says open both sides. So that's going to be opened up, and there's going to be a new stair railing there. So because we no longer have the 2 entrances here, the entrance to this, or the door to this, will actually be at the bottom of the stairs. And so it'll be a much cooler open stairwell with a nice rail there that'll be opened up to the entrance here. So it'll give a much more. You can see this stairwell will no longer be the communal stairwell. It'll be a stairwell strictly for this unit. So it'll be much nicer. Okay, so if we just keep walking through here, Doug, I think I'll show you. There is a coach house in the back, MJ. That is not part of this project. It's above the garage. He is going to be working on that completely separate after the fact. So it actually has a living space there. But it needs a lot of work to be done to be brought up to code to officially be a coach house there in the back. So we are not working on that at all. I haven't even seen it, to be honest with you. So that's something that he's working with the city still, to see if that's something that he can add, like you're saying, for additional income, which would actually be his 5th unit there. So something he's working on separate. So again, you can see here, this is where we'll have a small kitchen here in the back. Oh, sorry, not this space here. That's the bathroom. I gotta turn around for a second. So this will be another bathroom up here into the living space. That's the door that used to go out to the stairwell. Well, we're just going to turn that into a window. You can see the stairwell still there, so still need to fully take that down. Yeah, so it's boarded off for now, but most of the stairs are down. Just need to take that balcony space off as well. Walking through here, this will be the kitchen straight ahead. Again, not a full galley, but it'll be kind of using the space. Still have plenty of cabinet space, but it will be kind of a longer kitchen up there. Here you'll see a clawfoot tub that we've removed from a couple of the bathrooms have this old clawfoot tub. We're going to bring someone in to try and refinish these again, giving a kind of a more cool nod to the old building, but still having it be a little bit nicer finish. Just as long as it's closing up, so one closet will be for the bedroom here. And then that small little dining area is going to be through there. So that'll just be on the other side of the kitchen here, a little dining area here as well. So with that, I think we're kind of coming to a close on the full walkthrough here. Like I said, I wanted to still touch on a few lessons learned here. So Jeff, I think you can probably head back down, but you can see right here, you can see it enough. As you can see, we've added on exterior wall framing to a lot of these buildings. As we've gone through, you can see there's a lot of joint sistering and everything. The original plans really called mostly only for some interior wall framing, some changes that were made to that. But after going through our rough inspection, we had a long laundry list of areas that weren't up to code. And obviously, like you had, what I've kind of touched on earlier is anytime you're doing a project like this, and really any project, but specifically a project that you're not going to do a full gut on, you got to expect the unexpected. Make sure you have contingency. Don't be working on your project at your very max budget of where you think you're at, because it's almost a guarantee you're going to hit change orders on an old building like this. So like I said, the framing budget pretty much doubled at that point. Once we had to sister on and redo a lot of ceiling joists, specifically, not as much up here as Dev's going through. The basement and first floor, second floor had a lot of additional work, specifically in the bathrooms. All the bathrooms were old concrete floor that was put over joists that were not spaced well enough. So yes, it's held up for hundreds of years, or 100 years, sorry, but at the end of the day, did not meet code. So we had to demo out all the concrete floor, redo the joists as well to give it to increase the spacing and the overall joist size. So just want to touch on that. It's very common on these older buildings that you're not going to be meeting current codes. So anytime you're opening up partial walls as well, as soon as you open anything up and an inspector sees it, it's fair game. They're not going to go and tell you to start demoing a bunch of walls to see what's behind there, but inevitably you're going to have some walls demoed, some ceilings demoed. They're going to see behind it. They're going to know, hey, this isn't a code, and they're going to make you do it in order to pass inspection. So we did do all of our rework, or additional work, I should say, and did pass from framing inspection last week. So again, very happy with that. So we have moved on. Plumbing's already basically done, past our underground, moving on to our rough inspection and bringing in HVAC here sooner rather than later. So I think that's really most of what I had here today. Wanted to show you all through it. Is there any other questions that I could field from you guys here before we wrap up? I know you guys had some great questions during the walkthrough, but if there's anything else that I might be able to ask or answer right now, it would be great. Anything else that I could assist with? People a chance in case they're ready. Jolene asked the timeline for the entire rehab. So the original timeline we were hoping was about 7 months from start to finish. Like I said before, we already, got put probably about a month behind with this framing inspection. So we went through framing inspection earlier, in June. We just passed now. So if you some of you are familiar with the way the city works, submitting for inspections, they don't always come the most timely. Sometimes you might be waiting for a few weeks. So we didn't fully stop work as we were waiting for our reinspection. We kept working on plumbing without getting ahead of ourselves. At the end of the day, you don't want to jump into plumbing and then have a guy tell you during framing inspection, hey, you got to take these walls down. This wall's got to move. All of a sudden now you're not only are you redoing framing work, you're redoing plumbing work. So we did try to keep working without falling behind. But we're probably about a month behind right now. So I think trending towards maybe a full 8-month rehab. So do you do any projects up in the North Shore area? Yeah, we really don't stop from going anywhere at this rate. I mean, if it's too far, the further away from the city, the more we would want it to be a larger project. We generally focus on projects really above like 75K, hopefully more so around over 100K. So small projects like that wouldn't be really up our alley as much, but we've worked up in Arlington Heights. We've worked kind of in Lincolnwood. I know that's not as far up north, but at the end of the day, we don't necessarily only work in Chicago if the right project came in. Let's see here. Let's see here. Yes, definitely. I will share our Instagram QR code. If you haven't followed us, please do. We post post-construction photos all the time, certainly during construction photos, befores, afters, all that. We love posting those, as much as I know everyone else likes seeing them. We love seeing them as well, seeing our projects, come from start to finish. So please make sure to follow us and follow our journey on this project and some of our others. Let's see. All right. MJS, right now, do you have the square footage of each unit? Will we agents be able to do a walkthrough near completion, or what will we? That's a great question. At the end of the day, we have had actual walkthroughs on our projects before. Really, we went towards virtual just because we were doing them so frequently, and they're kind of all over the place. But at the end of the day, that's something we can certainly offer. I would, if you want, please reach out to us afterwards, and we can talk more. I'll give you our contact info. We can talk more about setting that up at some point in the near future. As far as the square footages, I don't have them offhand. I think they're each around 1,200 or so, maybe even a little bigger. Like I said, they're all very large units. Might even be actually closer to 14. But again, I can shoot that over to you if you reach out to us overall at the end. So let me go ahead and share the QR codes at the end that I like to show everyone. So, at the end of the day, we are here to help. We always tell everyone that. If there's any additional questions you may have, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself or our team. We're always here to help. So I have some QR codes that'll give you links to our Instagram, as well as a free initial consultation. If you have a project coming up that you want to any of our input on, or you would like us to walk through it with you, please reach out. The consultation is free. You'll be able to talk to us through your specific project, or maybe what you're looking for, if we can help in any way. So let me go ahead and share that here right now. So I will leave this up for a second here, but it's our Instagram to our website, newly updated website. So please come check it out. We're pretty proud of it. I know our team did a great job. Blondie, I see you there. Thank you for all your hard work on it. And then as well as the consultation, like I said, we are here to help. We want to be your contractor of choice for any projects that you might have coming up. We love what we do, and we love helping all you guys. So that's why we do these walkthroughs. That's why we do what we do. So please check us out. I'll leave this up here as we finish up, and we look forward to hearing from you guys, and look forward to you hopefully joining again next month. Again, we do this first Saturday of every month, so be on the lookout for the invite for next month. Thank you all for joining. We really appreciate your effort and you joining us here on a Saturday morning.